Hi. I know I was on just last night, but I want to talk to you a little bit about something that's happened to me today, because it kind of gives you a little bit more examples of what I was talking about last night about frequency. Um, I'm writing a book, Bouncing Back, and I it's about my journey with health, and I'm having some health struggles again. I wouldn't say struggles. I'm having some things come up. Let's put it that way. Um, I ended out. I found a naturopath to go see, and I saw him last night. And he there were some concerns with some of my numbers, my lab work that's been up recently, as close as just before Thanksgiving. And what came up was that he was kind of astonished because my numbers, he said, either there was a lab misprint or he was looking at numbers that he's actually never seen before. Considering my thyroid, apparently the numbers are just so off. It wasn't funny, and he said basically it was kind of like these was the words he said. It was and don't quote me on it, but it's kind of like I was a walking coma, in a walking coma. Um, and how was I, if the numbers were really accurate, how was I not in a coma? Literally. So, anyway, I listened to it, and, I've got to get an ultrasound on my throat because there's some things that don't look so great there, and we want to rule some things out, possibly the C word. I don't even go there because I don't want to bring that into my energy and my orbit, so I don't talk about it. Anyway, uh, so today was a day where he wanted me to go get lab work, and he'd already given me the thing to do it with. I needed to drink a bunch of bottled water. I needed to be fasting, etc. I very fortunately was able to arrange with somebody to walk both my dogs this morning so that I could sit and, drink all the water I needed to drink and then get down there and get the lab work done. And then I had to go see him to get some orthopedics, uh, some molds taken. So I was going to get some shoes done and etc. Anyway, so I drank the water, I went down, I got the blood work, and in fact, I actually got there, and they weren't even quite sure that I was, I think they weren't prepared that I was going to go so quickly. So they hadn't even sent over the form to know what the lab was for and how much blood to take. So I had to sit and I had to wait and I had to call the doctor's office and get a hold of them and get them to send it over, which they did. It was it can look like a real big inconvenience to some, depending on where your frequency is. My frequency, I mean, I did kept my dearest mentors, Katharina Satori had sent me and sent several other people just a beautiful way to start your morning. Uh, little I wouldn't say so much meditation, sort of meditation, but connection with spirit, and it was absolutely beautiful. It had me actually in tears of gratitude this morning. And so I started my day that way, and I just have been in a great space and going forward. And so anyway, I go in to do this blood work, and I then had to sit and get on the phone, get them to send this all over. And anyway, got it all done. Then I had to go back and get the orthopedics done. Well, when I was at the office, it was interesting. the doctor comes out and he's like, I am so sorry. And I said, what's up? And he said, you mentioned they only took like vials and you thought it was supposed to be more. And I looked and he said, I realized that I hadn't finished writing out what I wanted tested. So, and my gal, she sent it over and it wasn't actually complete. So you were right. I do want more blood taken. And I looked at him and I said, that's okay. I said, good, great thing you found out now. I'm here. Give it to me now. I'm still thinking. I drank all the water that was necessary. So I'll just go straight back there now and get, I've got another arm that can take blood out of that arm. And I'll get it done now. So I said, no worries. And he's like, oh, God, I wish more people thought the way you thought. And I just said, well, what's the point in allowing that to frustrate me or irritate me, take my frequency down when I don't need to go there. I can stay where I am. I can stay happy. I can stay in bliss. I can stay exactly where I am. So I said, I'll just take care of it now. I'll just go straight back there now. And so I did. And I went back and I stopped at the pharmacy first because he found I've also got a lot of wax in my ear. So he wanted me to pick something up that will help that. And what I did, I came out and I happened to notice this car as I was walking by it. And it had a big kind of chunk bump. She'd had some kind of accident. I have no idea if it was recent or not. And the woman actually was sitting in her car. And as I walked by, she was just going to open the door. So she stopped. And so I just said, oh, sorry. And she said, and I heard her saying, why is she so happy? And then she said, why are you saying sorry? And I said, oh, sorry. I said, just because as I was walking by, I saw you were going to open the door. And so you had to stop. And she goes, aw. That's sweet. Thank you. And I said, she goes, and why are you so happy? And I said, and I looked at her and I said, life. And she said, well, bless you. And she said, I can't be happy today. I just can't be happy right now. And I looked at her and smiled and I said, well, I'll just send you a lot of love, and just take care of yourself. And she just said, oh my God, thank you so much. And I walked away and I saw her smile. So I thought, good, maybe that'll go send on her way and make her day better. Anyway, off I went. So then back I get to the place to take the blood and the lab. And she kind of looks at me and she grins and she says, hi. And, and I said, hi. I said, I was right. They wanted more blood. The doctor hadn't finished. So he should have sent that over to you. And I have another arm and I'm still, she goes, are you fasting still? I said, yes, I'm still fasting. And I've drank all the water. So I thought, might as well get it done now. She kind of grinned at me. She goes, okay. And so in fact, I said, can I use your restroom? Because I drank so much water. She said, yes. So off I went. And then she said, go on in there. And she's kind of grinning at me. And I said, there's no point in getting flustered about it because actually I think about how fortunate I am because I already drank the water. I'm on my way home. It's on my way. I have another arm. I'll just stop and get it done. It's all, I was at the doctor's office when he noticed it. So it wasn't like I was already home and then I've got to reorganize everything and leave my dogs again. So it was like, it worked out perfectly. I got it all taken care of. It all worked out. I'm just as happy as when I left this morning. I'm still in my bliss, so I feel extremely fortunate. So I want to show you and explain to you that that's what I'm talking about frequency. I could allow all of that to say, well, heck, why didn't they take it the first time? Why do I have to go back the second time? I could say, and now I have to go to the drugstore, and then I have to go back for this, and then I have to this, and then I have to that. But you see, the difference is that I accept things that are coming up in life because that's life. Um, I just, none of it bothers me because that's just part of life. And I just roll with it. I just go with it. And so it didn't lower my frequency. So my frequency stayed up. I stayed happy. I'm in such a blissful place. I was able to rub some of that off on somebody else. And the other little piece to it, which was really fun, was when I was at leaving the doctor's office. The receptionist is such a lovely, delightful young lady, and she's from India. And so we were chatting. We instantly liked each other the first time we met. And so she saw me in this morning. She said, "Oh, I love your smile. You've got the best smile." I said, "Well, thank you." And so we were talking as he had sort of had said, thank you for not being upset. And I said, "Why would I be upset? What is the point of being upset? I mean, there just isn't. I don't live that way. I really, I try to practice what I preach." And so she and I were talking as he went back to work. And she was saying, you're wonderful. And we're chatting with this and that. And I said, I started telling her my philosophy for my life. And I said, I could get upset. What's the point? I don't want my frequency to go down. I want to stay up in bliss and happiness. This is life. Life happens to us. It's not so much what happens to us, it's how we take it, how we let it affect us. And I said, I want to stay in this glorious place. I don't want to go anywhere else. So, and then I was describing her a situation that I had a while ago that, how I was really practicing what they call part of my gene keys. And I had a situation come up where I had a certain amount of time that morning to get up, get ready, take my dogs for a walk before I had a class coming up later. I had allotted all this certain things to happen in a certain timing. And instead I got a phone call that morning, and I had recognized it was somebody I knew immediately they needed help, they needed to talk, and they needed to talk to somebody. I didn't know what it was about, I had no idea. But I knew it was something I could do to help them. So I chose to answer the phone. I chose to spend this extra time on the phone, which then caused my day to run behind, which meant my dogs were going to not have as long a walk, which got under my skin, which started to irritate me a little bit. As I walked out the door and we started to go for our walk, my neighbors stopped to say something to me. I could tell he picked up that I was a little irritated as I was a little short. And I walked on. My girl dog, who is my mirror, started to show me what was going on with me, because what she did was she started to react. I don't even remember if it was a deer, a squirrel, or something, and she started to jump up and down and grab her leash and shake it. Something that can sometimes make me laugh and sometimes can bother me. I'm learning to not allow things like that to bother me, because that's just part of who she is and her nature. There's nothing about that should bother me. So anyway, she's doing this, and I started to snap at her, tell her to stop it. I was irritated. And I stopped myself and I said, wait a minute. And I said, let's look at this. Since you're doing this work with gene keys, let's apply it. So what I did was I looked at the situation and I said, okay, so first off, she did nothing for you to snap at her for. She's just being her. She's being her joyful self. So where does that all come from? And I said, that all came from your ego, Fiona, didn't it? Because what I did was I chose to answer the phone. I didn't have to answer the phone at that particular time. I could have waited and called her back since I had allowed a certain amount of time to walk the dogs, so they got plenty of time, so nothing was rushed. So I had it all planned up and out, and I'm the one that changed the whole plan for the morning. It wasn't anybody else doing it. I did it. And I thought about it. Okay, so why did you choose to answer the phone when you did? I thought about it, and I thought, that was all my ego. Because you see, my ego knew that I could help her. So I chose to answer the phone at that precise time because I knew I could help her. And I did it because my ego wanted to feel good. Let's get down to it. My ego really wanted to just feel really good because I knew I was the one that could help her. And that would make my ego feel really good. And so I said to myself, okay, self, here's the lesson with the gene keys. You've seen it. You've seen exactly what you did. You've looked at it. Let it flow through. Let it pass. Then I looked at both of my dogs. I said, now we're going to go for a walk. We're going to have the most fantastic walk. We're going to go and enjoy. We're not going to be rushed. We're going to have plenty of time. It's off we go. And we did. And sure enough, I had the most magical walk. My bliss and my frequency was through the roof. I was so happy, in such a good space. I didn't allow anything to mar that. And it was just absolutely beautiful. And I thought, now, isn't that a beautiful way to work the energy and the frequency and understand? And I also learned more about the gene keys. It's a simple thing that I think we all do all the time. You know, we allow our egos to get in the way, and something totally simple. And it was a simple lesson, but it was an important lesson for me to notice. Because I also realized that this was something that I needed to grow up from, because I'd been allowing situations like that to come up since I could remember. And I don't think I'd ever really looked at it in a way that I stopped behaving that way. I just kept seeing it, but I kept going on with it. And I kept repeating it in different situations throughout my life. And here I am, a grown woman. It doesn't matter what age you are, but I was still doing it. So by going through this, I allowed it to release. And it was such a wonderful way to move on. And I realized that, this is what I was talking to you about when I talked to you about raising your frequency and keeping your frequency high versus allowing your frequency to be lowered. Instead of allowing anything today to come in and change my frequency, I didn't, and that was my choice. And I'm able to stay happy and in bliss. And even though I'm getting, what a lot of people would think from a doctor is kind of some scary scenarios and newses and situations that could be coming up and could arise. But I also look at it like, first off, now this is my belief, but I believe I'm the one that chose this path that I'm on this lifetime. And so I chose to experience some of the things with health. And the reason that I've chosen these things is because it's part of something I needed to learn. I wanted to see, I wanted to experience. Now, does it mean that I have to keep going through it? I don't believe so. I think for me, this is about learning to experience it so that I can also learn to fully, completely heal, which is why I'm writing the book. And so it's so important for me to go through all of it, to see all of it. Doesn't mean I have to go through being ill, but it means I need to go through understanding it and seeing it. I don't believe that I'm going to be seriously ill. I don't believe that's part of what happens. If it is and it takes me, it does, and that's part of my journey. And I'll understand all that at the end. Um, but I do believe that I'm here for something more. I've always felt that, and there's a reason why this doctor said that he was surprised that I had you know had was walking around and was literally had not dropped dead. Um, and I know that Spirit Watch is watching over me because my journey's not done. What I'm here to actually accomplish, uh, if I'm brave enough, which I know I am, is to go through this so that I can help others uh, understand healing, but also understand how much gifts we each have and how much we can actually participate in what happens in our lives and what we choose and how we choose to look at each thing that comes to us and how we can transcend these things and have a better life and have the life that we really want and that we do create. I just chose to go through learning the way I'm learning so that I can evolve into this incredible, incredible life that I'm evolving into, that I'm actually already living. I live a magical, wonderful life. And part of that is experiencing what I'm experiencing so that it can even become more magical, more wonderful. So anyway, I wanted to come live to share this with you because, it was just so important to me because it came up and it all came up today and all these little things happened. And I wanted to give you a little more of an example of what I'm talking about because I know some people will go, oh, I get it. And some people will go, I don't get what she's talking about. So I wanted to be able to, since it came up, share it with you. Anyway, I plan on the rest of my day just having such a glorious time and fulfilling and wonderful, and the sun is shining and it's actually warm. And even though I've got this thyroid issue, which makes you can see my hands get a little white, and it's because I'm always cold. I'm always colder, so it's actually a little warmer today. So I'm not quite as cold as I normally would be. So I'm grateful for that too. Anyway, I've got one of my dearest friends coming to come chat with me this evening. We're going to share a little bit. And so I have that to look forward to. I've got another wonderful walk to look forward to. I get to now eat something because I am now done with all my blood work and I can end the fast. And So I'm going to make myself a little something to eat and a snack and sit and relax and have that and enjoy the sunshine, and maybe even go sit in it for a few minutes too, where it's nice and warm, and then and just feel as blessed as I do because it's such a beautiful day and I've had such beautiful spirits and interact with today already, and there's more to come. So, uh, namaste to you. I love you all, and it was good to come on so soon again and see you. So, all my love, and I will share it with you and talk with you again very soon. Bye.